引き続き、ジブコバ先生からのご発表になります。
すみません、申し訳ありません。もう少し我慢してください。
2回目の発表は、A newly discovered a private Ukiyo-e collection in Bulgaria ということで、よろしいですか？
はい、お願いします。
お願いします。
Actually, you heard the title of my presentation, A Newly Discovered Private Ukiyo-e Collection in Bulgaria. This is what started me with my Ukiyo-e research. As many of you know, when you met me in 2018 in Kaunas and 2019 in Sofia, I'm just a teacher of Japanese, and I focus my research on Japanese onomatopoeia. Something interesting happened in my life, so I started being interested. Actually, I was forced to start being interested into ukiyo-e, and now we'll hear what. But before I proceed, I want to use this opportunity, actually, being the one before the last speaker entitles me to say several words of gratitude, which I'm sure that we all hold in our hearts now. Let me begin by saying that I'm thrilled to be with you after those 2 years of isolation and uncertainty that Corona offered us. I'm honored to be invited by the EAJRS, which provides a valuable forum for practitioners and experts to discuss crucial issues related to Japan, knowledge, and books, my 3 hitomebore in life. I'm honored to be here. And I consider that this conference is an important platform where like-minded specialists can share effort and actually knowledge on how they tackle some of the most pressing challenges. And I look forward to exploring further avenues of collaboration and engagement between all of us here. Okay. But I finished. Okay, put it as you want. Okay. I hope that this opportunity will help us be together in the future and walk on the paths of art and knowledge together. My gratitude is not just gratitude, it's related to all those nice feelings that are there on this picture. I thank you. I thank you for your attitude. I thank you for your trust in me. I thank you for the help. I thank you for your kindness. I thank you for your hospitality. And how my affair with ukiyo-e started. As I told you, I'm just a teacher. I teach Japanese language at Sofia University. And in 2020, right after Corona started in Bulgaria, I had a phone call from a lady I did not know. And she asked me the simple question, do you speak Japanese? So naturally I said, yes. And then she went on, do you read Japanese? I said, yes. And then she said, let us meet. So we met. And she showed me that. It's an album. It's a beautifully, actually, bound album, natural leather with gold leathers. Then she said, would you like to see what's in it? I said, yes, please. And when I opened it, I realized that there are 50 ukiyo-e paintings, prints. And there is one thing which I called a textile sample from Saga, because that's what I can read. Two of those prints are actually doubled. So the total of the original prints is like 48, if my mathematics is actually not paying joke to me. Famous painters of the mid-19th century, and his product is actually bound in that album. That belonged to Pietro Montani, who is a person of Italian origin. Due to the business his father had, Pietro Montani appeared in Turkey. At that time, it was the Ottoman Empire. And he spent his childhood and his teenage years there. He went to France to study actually art in the National School of Fine Arts. And then he came back to Turkey, where his talent was recognized, and quite young, he was appointed to be the main interior designer and architect of the Sultan at that time. He created several special buildings and interiors for the Sultan, but that's a topic of a big article, which I'm going to write. The thing is that he was so famous that in 1979, when Bulgaria was liberated from the 500-year Ottoman yoke, it needed to have its, cities rebuilt, the capital built, and so on and so forth. Naturally, Bulgarians who were not allowed education did not have academically educated people, well, apart from those who had studied to foreign countries. But at that time, Bulgaria started to import great minds from abroad. And that is how Pietro Montani appeared in Bulgaria as a main architect of South Bulgaria. Due to him, Plovdiv, where one of the big Ukiyo-e collection is, Hisaria and Haskovo, and other Bulgarian cities have their beautifully set streets and infrastructure and so on and so forth. We might assume that him being appointed the main architect, the chief architect of the Sultan, was the reason he went to Philadelphia or Vienna's World Fairs, where he took part in constructing the Turkish pavilion. And for some reasons, Turkish pavilion sometimes was adjacent to the Japanese pavilion. Maybe that is why he actually had his first contacts with Japan. There is some research that says that Pietro Montani was one of those artists who believed that the universal harmony expresses itself in mathematics, music, art, and if you can find those common points in science and art, you can recreate the harmony in your paintings or in the buildings you built and so on and so forth. Maybe he saw something universally beautiful in Japanese ukiyo-e, and notwithstanding the fact that he was not familiar with Japan, he bought the collection consisting of nearly about 50 ukiyo-e prints. Let me remind you again about the galleries in Bulgaria that possess ukiyo-e prints, this time from a different angle. I need to tell you that the Sofia Art Gallery, the National Art Gallery in Sofia contains 114 pieces and is the biggest collection in Bulgaria. That is the condition of most of the ukiyo-e now. The color has faded, especially the red pigment, I believe, is almost vanished because of some bad exposure prior to this collection becoming part of the museum, of the museum's fund. Right now, actually, this gallery called Kvadrat 500 or Square 500 is the only one that offers proper condition for storing ukiyo-e in Bulgaria in terms of humidity, light, and so on. Unfortunately, they have been damaged and they need a lot of restoration. This is Silistra Gallery. I visited there and I noticed that this gallery needs serious help in terms of actually defining who the painter is and what the name of the painting is. Right now, there are graphics with 1, 2, 3 versions of the name and of the painter. So a serious research must be done in order to find out exactly who is who and what is whose. In that respect, I'm relying on the help of a very, very big friend whom I met about 1 month ago, but you will hear it a bit later. Sliven Gallery, this is how ukiyo-e are stored. Of course, the windows are shaded, but still, I believe that these conditions are not exactly proper for storing ukiyo-e. So I talked to the gallery staff, but they said that's the best we can do at the moment. Why I'm saying that is that part of my scientific and not only scientific interest in ukiyo-e has some very practical aspect, and I will tell you a bit about that. Plovdiv Gallery, where Plomena Racheva used to work for a long time, and thanks to who we have this beautiful collection printed on paper and actually spread throughout Bulgaria, contains half of the collection that Bulgarian Cultural Attaché obtained in Tokyo. The other half is in Sliven. So 30 in Sliven, 30 in Plovdiv. Actually, I'm sorry, this year in April, the collection was exhibited in Plovdiv after about 20 years staying actually hidden. So if you go to Plovdiv now, you can see it with no problem. What I want to say is that during all these years, Japanese embassy in Bulgaria put quite a lot of effort into trying to give more publicity to Japanese art. And in 2010, I was not in Bulgaria at that time, so I cannot speak from first person point of view. But in 2010, there was a Japanese Ukiyo-e master who visited Bulgaria and held 2 or 3 workshops. Now it's 2022. 12 years later, people still remember those workshops. And very often we get inquiries, will that be repeated? Can we see that again? So I believe that there is this hunger in Bulgarians to learn more, to try more about Japanese ukiyo-e art. In 2013, again, there was an exhibition, this time of the Square 500 exhibition in Sofia as part of the Days of Japanese Culture in Bulgaria. This is just a screenshot of the 50 ukiyo-es that Pietro Montani's collection contains. I will show in more detail what they look like. I have actually chosen only 4 of them, which are the most famous and I believe the most rare of them. Recognition, excuse me for the quotes, but recognition was done by me. It was done in the most amateur way, just looking through some albums of ukiyo-e and checking what world famous galleries have. I am not a specialist, I admit it, but I was asked to help and I tried to help. Have I done that job properly is now being considered by a person who actually I met about 1 or 2 months ago. And that happened because I am really sure that help comes only if you ask for it. I asked for help. And luckily, I asked the right person. First, I asked Klemena Racheva as Bulgarian, but secondly, I asked my Japanese friends, and I was directed to Professor Okubo from Rekihaku, who, despite his being very busy, actually had some Zoom meetings with me and is now helping me check if I had identified the 50 ukiyo-e from the private collection properly. And also he's helping me on something really huge. I'm terrible at mathematics, but let me remind you that the Sofia collection contains 114, Sliven collection contains 30, then 30 in Plovdiv and 30 in Silistra, which makes about 200 something pieces of ukiyo-e in Bulgaria. At certain times, they were identified, re-identified, and so on and so forth. And you saw that some of them, have more than one version of their titles. So Professor Okubo is helping me identify those ukiyo-e paintings because we believe that it is worth showing them to Bulgarian public in one place at one time. So due to the effort of the Embassy of Japan in Bulgaria, we are now discussing the possibility of national exhibition of ukiyo-e collections for state-owned collections and 1 private collection. In 2023, during the time of the Days of Japanese Culture in Bulgaria. In that time, we will, of course, exhibit what we have at hand, but during the preparation, we must make sure that we are giving the right titles and the right names of the authors. Actually, one of the applications of this private ukiyo-e collection is that it will become part of the Sofia University Museum. We have agreed with the university press to print out copies with comments, and then me as a teacher, now this time I have the confidence to say me as a teacher, will be bringing my students there, will be watching those beautiful actually views of Japan, and Japanese people will be discussing, be it in Japanese or in Bulgarian, what do we see? What is this? What is it a symbol of? What we can tell about this story? we will practice both Japanese language, history, culture, and so on and so forth. So being part of the collection of Sofia University Museum, this Ukiyo-e will help us have this, classroom out of the classroom and kind of like get in touch in the literal way with Japanese culture in a very interesting and intriguing way. And I might say that there are so many questions left to me to answer, but I believe that cooperation with Professor Okubo and the kind help by the Japanese Embassy in Bulgaria will help my colleagues and me and my students and me, because I include a lot of my students in the research, find out more about what is there in Bulgaria and how valuable it is and show it to the world. And I believe this is my last slide. So thank you very much.
どうもありがとうございました。なんか、Days of Japanese Culture。How many days という感じですけど。
About 2 months.
2 months.
Yes, they start late September and they finish in November. So right now we are in the season of Japanese days of Japanese culture in Bulgaria.
頑張ってください。
ありがとうございます。
質問ある方はいらっしゃいますでしょうか。はい、小山さん。
Just my impression is, you mentioned in Pietro Montani
Yes.
collection. Yeah, I think, and also you have mentioned Vienna Expo
I
and
did.
Philadelphia. The people from a lot of people from Saga Nabeshima clan is a Saga prefecture, such as Sano Tsunetami and Okuma Shigenobu. They are involved in the expo museum matters. So definitely, I think those Ukiyo-e collection were connected with Nabeshima clan. I think people from Nabeshima clan, such as probably Sano Tsunetami, I think.
Might that be an explanation of that? Let me show you if you are patient. Do I have time? Oh, thank you. I will try to enlarge now. I don't know how successfully. This is Kaga Prefecture sample. Might that be connected to?
Yeah, I think, for example, I think according to my memory, the Vienna exhibition was organized by Okuma Shigenobu and maybe Sano Tsunetami. And Sano Tsunetami became first director of Tokyo Museum of Tokyo.
Right. Thank you. So after this presentation, will you be patient enough to help me
Yeah,
write down
right,
the information?
in
Thank you.
他に質問のある方はいらっしゃいますでしょうか。皆さんよろしいですか。
I am quite seriously torturing Professor Okubo, but if you know somebody who can be of any help in order to save him the effort of listening to my constant, requests, it will be nice if I can work with somebody else in Japan. Although I'm truly grateful because Professor Okubo is really doing us the honor of actually helping us recognize properly those ukiyo-e paintings. And I hope that in 2024-23, hopefully, when we hold the exhibitions, he will be able to come to Bulgaria. And you too.
お招きをどうもありがとうございます。それでは、ジブコバさんの先生のご発表をこれで終わりにしたいと思います。どうもありがとうございました。